consciousness, he attained the base of the infinity of space. Having emerged from the base of the infinity of space, he attained the fourth jhana. Having emerged from the fourth jhana, he attained the third jhana. Having emerged from the third jhana, he attained the second jhana. Having emerged from the second jhana, he attained the first jhana. Having emerged from the first jhana, he attained the second jhana. Having emerged from the second jhana, he attained the third jhana. Having emerged from the third jhana, he attained the fourth jhana. Having emerged from the fourth jhana, immediately after this, the Blessed One attained final Nibbana. I'll stop here for a moment. So here you see the Buddha, to attain Nibbana, he went through one by one all the jhanas up to the 8th jhana, then cessation of perception of consciousness, and then down all the 8 jhanas to number 1, and then after that number 1 up to number 4. Then from number 4, as soon as he came out of number 4, immediately entered Nibbana. And the Blessed One attained final Nibbana. Simultaneously with his final Nibbana, Brahma Sahampati recited this verse: all beings in the world will finally lay the body down. Since such a one as the teacher, the peerless person in the world, the Tathagata endowed with the powers, the Buddha, has attained final Nibbana. And the Blessed One attained final Nibbana. Simultaneously with his final Nibbana, Sakadeva Raja, who is Lord of the Devas, recited this verse: impermanent indeed are formations. Their nature is to arise and vanish. Having arisen, they cease. Their appeasement is blissful. These 4 verses, normally we chant Anicca vata sankara upada vaya dhammino upajitava nirujanti te sang upasamo sukho. This is the one. And the Blessed One attained final Nibbana. Simultaneously with his final Nibbana, the Venerable Ananda recited this verse: then there was terror, then there was trepidation, when the One perfect in all excellent qualities, the Buddha, attained final Nibbana. And the Blessed One attained final Nibbana. Simultaneously with his final Nibbana, the Venerable Anuruddha recited these verses: there was no more in and out breathing in the stable one of steady mind. When unstirred, bent on peace, the one with vision attained final Nibbana. With unshrinking mind, he endured the pain, like the quenching of a lamp was the deliverance of the mind. So this is how the Buddha entered Nibbana. Now we come to the 7th Samyutta, Brahmana Samyutta. Discourses concerning the Brahmins. Here, this Brahmana does not refer to the holy man, but refers to the clan of Brahmins, the priest clan. Originally they were priests, but now no more. The first sutta, 7.1. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Rajagaha in the bamboo grove, the squirrel sanctuary. Now on that occasion, the wife of a certain Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan, a Brahmin lady named Dhananjani, had full confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Once, while the Brahmin lady Dhananjani was bringing the Brahmin his meal, she stumbled, whereupon she uttered 3 times this inspired utterance: homage to the Blessed One, the Arahant, perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the Blessed One, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightened one. Homage to the Blessed One, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightened one. This one in Pali would be Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. This can be said to be one of the mantras we can use to a meditation object we can use to keep our mind from wandering. Whenever you're not doing anything, you just chant Namo Tassa. At the same time, you are like praising the Buddha. At the same time, you're keeping your mind from running away. When this was said, the Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan said to her, "For the slightest thing, this wretched woman spouts out praise of that shaveling ascetic. Now, wretched woman, I'm going to refute the doctrine of that teacher of yours." And she said, "I do not see anyone Brahmin in this world with its Devas, Mara and Brahma, In this generation with its ascetics and Brahmins, its devas and humans, who could refute the doctrine of the Blessed One, Arahant Sammasambuddha. But go, O Brahmin, when you have gone, you will understand. Then the Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan, angry and displeased, approached the Blessed One and exchanged greetings with him. I stop here for a moment. It seems this Brahmin, because he was not a follower of the Buddha, and sometimes his friends come to his house, they are also Brahmins, but his wife was a follower of the Buddha. And since his wife was always saying Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa, he felt a bit embarrassed because his Brahmin friends also did not like the Buddha, probably just like him. So that's why when the wife stumbled and said Namo Tassa again, he got angry. So he said he wanted to go and argue with the Buddha and prove the Buddha wrong. When they had concluded their greetings and cordial talk, he sat down to one side and addressed the Blessed One in verse. Having slain, what does one sleep soundly? Having slain, what does one not sorrow? What is the one thing, O Gotama, whose killing you approve? And the Buddha said, having slain anger, one sleeps soundly. Having slain anger, one does not sorrow. The killing of anger, O Brahmin, with its poisoned root and honeyed tip, this is the killing the noble ones praise. For having slain that, one does not sorrow. When this was said, the Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan said to the Blessed One, Magnificent Master Gotama, magnificent Master Gotama, the Dhamma has been made clear in many ways by Master Gotama, as though he were turning upright what had been turned upside down, revealing what was hidden, showing the way to one who was lost, or holding up a lamp in the dark for those with eyesight to see forms. I go for refuge to Master Gotama, and to the Dhamma, and to the Bhikkhu Sangha. May I receive the going forth under the Master Gotama. May I receive the higher ordination. I stop here for a moment. Here it is quite surprising because this guy, he had a lot of anger towards the Buddha. So he came to ask the Buddha. It was like a kind of riddle. He thought the Buddha would not be able to answer. What should you sleep? What should you slay? So when the Buddha says you should slay anger, then on the one hand, when he came, he had a lot of anger. So when the Buddha mentioned kill anger, he thought probably that the Buddha could read his mind. So he was so impressed by the Buddha, and he not only took refuge with the Buddha, he even wanted to go forth as a monk under the Buddha. But one thing about Indians, religion is very much a part of the culture, unlike Chinese. Chinese business is very important, but Indian, they value religion a lot. That's why when they see monks, they are full of respect. Then the Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan received the going forth under the Blessed One. He received the high ordination. And soon, not long after his high ordination, dwelling alone, withdrawn, diligent, ardent and resolute, the Venerable Bharadvaja, by realizing it for himself with direct knowledge, in this very life entered and dwelt in that unsurpassed goal of the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth from the household life into homelessness. He directly knew, destroyed his birth, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done. There is no more for this state of being. And the Venerable Bharadvaja became one of the Arahants. That's the end of the sutta. So you see, generally for the Buddha's disciples to become an Arahant, this is the standard phrase that is soon, not long after his high ordination, dwelling alone, withdrawn, diligent, ardent and resolute. So that's why the Buddha praised dwelling alone, because when a person dwells alone, he has to, in a way, he has to cultivate diligently, because in the deep forest, sometimes there are a lot of spirits around. If the monk is lazy, the spirits will come and disturb him. So also he has nothing else to do, is it? Nobody to talk to. So he has all the time undistracted attention to meditate. 7.2. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Rajagaha in the bamboo grove, the squirrel sanctuary. The Brahmin Akosaka Bharadvaja the abusive, heard. It is said that the Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan has gone forth from the household life into homelessness under the ascetic Gotama. Angry and displeased, he approached the Blessed One and abused and reviled him with rude, harsh words. Stop here for a moment. You see, these Brahmins, they have their own religion, so they don't like the Buddha. And when they heard that one of their fellow Brahmins had gone forth, this fellow was very angry that the Buddha converted one of these Brahmins, so their Brahmin clan has become smaller, less people. When he had finished speaking, the Blessed One said to him, "What do you think, Brahmin? Do your friends and colleagues, kinsmen and relatives, as well as guests come to visit you?" Sometimes they come to visit Master Gotama. Then, do you then offer them some food or a meal or a snack? Sometimes I do, Master Gotama. But if they do not accept it from you, then to whom does the food belong? If they do not accept it from me, then the food still belongs to us. And the Buddha said, "So too, Brahmin, we who do not abuse anyone, who do not scold anyone, who do not rail against anyone, refuse to accept from you the abuse, the scolding and tirade you let loose at us. It still belongs to you, Brahmin. It still belongs to you, Brahmin." Brahmin, one who abuses his own abuser, who scolds the one who scolds, who rails against the one who rails at him, he is said to partake of the meal, to enter upon an exchange. But we do not partake of your meal. We do not enter upon an exchange. It still belongs to you, Brahmin. It still belongs to you, Brahmin. So the Buddha says, "You've given me all that anger. I don't accept it. You take it back. It belongs to you." And he said, "The king and his retinue understand the ascetic Gotama to be an arahant. Yet the master Gotama still gets angry." And the Buddha said, "How can anger arise in one who is angerless? In the tame one of righteous living, in one liberated by perfect knowledge, in the stable one who abides in peace. One who repays an angry man with anger, thereby makes things worse for himself. Not repaying an angry man with anger, one wins a battle hard to win. He practices for the welfare of both, his own and the others. When knowing that his foe is angry, he mindfully maintains his peace. When he achieves the cure of both, his own and the others, the people who consider him a fool are unskilled in the Dhamma." When this was said, the Brahmin Akosaka Bharadvaja said to the Blessed One, "Magnificent Master Gotama, magnificent Master Gotama." In the same way, the Dhamma has been made clear in many ways by Master Gotama, as though he were turning upright what had been turned upside down, revealing what was hidden, showing the way to one who was lost, or holding up a lamp in the dark for those with eyesight to see forms. I go for refuge to Master Gotama, to the Dhamma and to the Bhikkhu Sangha. May I receive the going forth under Master Gotama. May I receive the higher ordination. Then the Brahmin of the Bharadvaja clan received the going forth under the Blessed One. He received the higher ordination, and soon, not long after his higher ordination, dwelling alone, withdrawn, diligent, ardent, and resolute, the Venerable Bharadvaja became one of the Arahants. So this is another sutta. It shows how this Brahmin so fast, after arguing with the Buddha, he can just become a monk. It's interesting how the Buddha refute his anger, And he was so impressed that he